just like sharks. When they stop moving, they die.
Hi, this is Tim Weaver from CMVG, and I'm here with Matthew Pellett from Games Master Magazine. How you doing, Matt?
I'm pretty good, thank you.
Good, good. So, Deadlight. After a bit of a barren spell of 0 releases, this is probably one of the first big-ish releases we've had for a while. So, is it something that people should look forward to? It's very, very stylish, I know that much.
Yeah, I think it is. It's not this year's Limbo like some of us hoped it would be. Obviously, Deadlight is one of the 5 games of the Summer of Arcade this year on Xbox Live Arcade. And it's a decent title. Is it the standout title of the bunch? I'm not quite sure. It's got a few problems. It's basically a 2D side-scrolling action-adventure a la Flashback.
Yeah,
way back in the day.
Funnily enough, when we had it in the office, I said to a couple of people, it reminds me so much of Flashback.
Yeah, you know, and the developers have been quite open about their influences. They've said, yeah, that and Prince of Persia, they look towards those games when coming up with Deadlight. You know, it's a zombie game. A lot of people are going to pick up on the fact that it's got zombies in it, but it's not a game about zombies. It's about this guy called Randall Wayne. It's set in 1986, and he's basically trying to survive the undead outbreak that's taken over Seattle. And as you can see on the screen here, a few traps as well. This is actually from the game's second act. It's a 3-act game, and when you go down into the sewers, things change a little bit. You're not just against enemies, you're against environment as well, and it gets a bit interesting there.
So tell us a bit about. There's lots of puzzles in it, but or is there? I mean, because we were watching someone play it in the office, and it was very. To be honest, it was very. The puzzle he was doing wasn't particularly intuitive. In fact, it was more to do with pixel perfect jumping than it was actually using your brain and solving.
There are some puzzles. Like each little area is like a little self-contained unit, so it's not like you're picking up items and then taking them to elsewhere in the game to use. This isn't a Metroidvania game. You're not going to be going through gear-gated areas, picking up items, going back to old areas. It's very much A to B to C to D, a very linear experience. So within each little environment there are like environmental based puzzles, so you might have to push a box over here so you can stand on the box and jump over. You might have to free up a switch, knock something out of a gear mechanism so that you can then turn on a lever and, you know, create a raised platform that you can then use to jump elsewhere. A lot of the puzzles come from getting past the zombies as well. Like here we're actually seeing quite a lot of combat. When I played it through myself, there was very little fighting going on. Zombies aren't there to be like killed, or re-killed, I guess, as it is. They're there to be avoided for the most part.
Because ammo is quite scarce, isn't it?
Yeah, very scarce. I mean, you do get a pistol, you get a shotgun. In the second act, you actually lose your pistol for a little while, and you get a catapult, and it's all based around how do you use that to then get past the traps. What I found to be a tactic that you can sort of exploit quite a lot, unfortunately, is that you stand on a raised environment, you whistle with the Y button to get zombies to come towards you, and then you just run over their heads. Jump over their heads and then just run away.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of combat going on. It's nice, but yeah, you picked up on a thing when you mentioned pixel perfect jumps. There is some of that, like Flashback and Prince of Persia. I think some people will find that frustrating. Like where Deadlight falls down is that in absence of very clever puzzles, and by that I mean puzzles that you maybe saw in Limbo where you really had to stop and think about what you were doing, Deadlight doesn't really have too many of those moments, and it's kind of easy to see where you're supposed to be going and where you're supposed to be jumping. And in absence of the clever puzzles, you just have to be very precise when you make those jumps. And occasionally, like the difference between jumping from a standing start and from a sprinting start can mean you like making a ledge or overshooting. It's not necessarily too clear which is which. So there are some frustrations certainly that arise from those elements. But on a whole, you know, as far as the Summer of Live goes, it's a pretty decent pick.